Oh man, that sucks. Which is really problematic because um, comparing yourself to like a bunch of people who you know in really singular aspects doesn't really help you get better, especially if you're incredibly critical of yourself. So I have been doing what I can to shift that, and like one of those things has been how I've perceived my language learning and acquisition. Because typically, what happens is a lot of students will come out here and they'll stay for like 3 weeks, 3 months, or whatever. They'll study Fusha, they'll come to Jordan, they'll pass a test, and then but like they can't have any kind of like meaningful in-depth conversation, and they have like no real understanding of the culture, the happenings of the day in the country, just like any of that. And so I've come to that realization recently, and I was like, oh snap, like I'm actually like farther ahead than a lot of the people come out here. And there are people who I know who have like lived even in this village, for instance, who are like from France or from other areas, and who have lived here for years and don't speak really any Arabic. And so having that kind of understanding of how people actually interact with this place has given me a new perspective on how to interact and engage when I go back to the US and complete my degree. Man, fuck. Oh man, oh god, so much shit happening in the US. But anyway, so one of the I was watching a video recently um, by Captain Sinbad. He's like a really cool guy. Like, and if I have the availability to, I'll put his video in the link. But in the or I'll link his video in the description. Wow, I can't believe I'm saying that. But what's his name? And it was about like this, exercise. Excuse me. About kind of like reviewing your last year, thinking about what you're going to do for this year going forward, and kind of how to set up goals and a structure for that. And I've seen that there's another there are a few other people who I know here who are contractors, and they do like the ECP security stuff. And when I went to one of their like apartments, this guy, he had this kind of like post-it note on his mirror, and it just had like, I think it had like 3 or 4 words on it, and I was like, oh, like what's this? And he's like, oh, well, this is to remind me of my goals. And basically, like, each word represented 3 things, and those 3 things represented like another 3 things, right? So so he basically had that for 3 different goals. So 3 by 3, which is 9 by 3, which is 27. Which is kind of like how he structured his entire life. And he structured his entire life around those 3 things and in those particular subsets of those 3 things, which kind of like helps you build like exponential growth. And I know I'm not describing it in much detail that really articulates that, but basically what it is it's you're starting with something small, and you do that one small thing really well until it becomes like an ingrained inset habit. And then after you've done that, you add another one on top of that. And it's essentially like it's success with compound interest, right? So when like you get up every day at 6 o'clock, and like that's your goal is just to get up every day at 6 o'clock, and you do that for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Hold on. You do that for a month, 2 months, 3 months, to where that like that's it's just normal for you. And then on top of that, you add like, okay, well, I'm gonna get up every day, and I'm just gonna like walk for 15 minutes around the block. And then you do that, and then everything just becomes a part of your life. It's no longer a thing you have to do, it's a thing that just gets done. Kind of like breathing or eating at certain times. Like it's not a thing you have to push yourself to do. And so that's kind of what I'm doing now. I think I'll make a video later kind of discussing some of the things. Like right now, what I have is Arabic is my first one. And that's broken down into 3 things, which is reading, writing, and speaking. And so the three things that go below that are the metrics that I'm going to use to determine what is satisfactory reading, what is satisfactory speaking, and what is satisfactory writing. Um, and then the next goal that I have is like fitness, which I should change to health. And then from health, it'll be fitness, diet, and meditation, like I used to do in martial arts. And then breaking those three things down into their core elements and metrics. And so, like I haven't come up with a third one really. Or actually, no, I did. And it was structure. And so I'm developing that right now. And so structure is broken down into discipline and I think consistency. And I haven't added the third one. And then I added like a fourth one, which is something that I use to break up my time. Something that I'm gonna use uh like when I'm tired of doing the other three things, these are the things that I do as a break that are also constructive, that also contribute to my growth, but are also things that I would like enjoy. So like I just put that as auxiliary, and then those three things are reading, French, and I don't think I added a third one for that either. And the reason that I added French is because there's a French woman who lives here, and she's one of the people who's lived here for like a few years and like doesn't speak very much Arabic. Which I can understand why. Like it's it's really crazy because this is a really small village, but like you can still kind of get lost if you don't really know it very well. And you can just keep to yourself and sort of like blend into the background because everybody stays to their little like kind of like core area, which is like really strange. Like because if you have a family, like they're all going to build on the same land. So, your uncle, your brother, uh, your grandfather, your mother's brother, all of them, they're going to be building on the land. They're going to be married. They're going to have kids. So you kind of have like this familial social structure that's like far more broad. And so like the families just kind of like stay to themselves and are interspersed. So they all go into like their own area. So you can kind of like disappear in this place. Which is like really interesting. Like if nobody knows like you came to Wadidom, nobody's gonna know you came to Wadidom. Uh, like it blew my mind because like I was here 2 years ago, and I think I remember like seeing her or like bumping into her like once, but that was it. And I was thinking like I don't think I really talked to her very much. Or no, Ahmed mentioned her, and he mentioned her aunt, and so I was like, because her aunt lives here too, and I was like, oh wow, like so people you can disappear into this place, which is really interesting. Even being a complete outsider. Excuse me. So it's a thing that can happen that you know you can run into. So hold on.